Why don't you just tell me a little bit about your film?
So this is a story about the underprivileged janitor who lives in an underwater tribe, underprivileged society. And the simple rule that she has to follow, she must work. She must work and she can't perform any type of arts. It's prohibited for people like her, for people from the lower class like her. But she does it anyway. And that's where the story begins. She breaks the law and she dances, and one of the family members of the tribe notices it. And that starts the whole story and puts her in a whirlwind of troubles.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know how long it has to be. This is kind of like a short type of intro to the project.
Sure.
And the idea came to me when
Hmm.
I was observing the oceans, observing the waves, specifically in San Francisco. And there was something strange that hit me, that what if there is this society that lives underwater, that lives isolated from us, and nobody knows about it, and they don't know that there is us.
Hmm.
What if there is this another world that lives in parallel sort of reality, even though it's actual reality just underwater next to us and unaware of each other? And the story started from there. What if there was that society, and what kind of society it would be? And if it's isolated, it means that the whole world for them is what they live in, like things that they see, it's the whole world. There is no other way to live, and they kind of deal with it, and that's how they work, and sort of in parallel to our world, like the things that we see, that's how we think that things should work. And the same principle can apply to that story. Also, the metaphor, the dance is a metaphor that I'm trying to explore, that is directly related to my personal experience of not being able to literally make films for 2 years, because if I make them, they won't count towards my visa, and so there is no really point making them, because I need to like stay alive and stay in the country. And that period where I couldn't make films, that really made me sort of seeded this idea for this film. And I couldn't make films, but I can write. So that's what I've been doing during those years. I've been writing other different stories, including this one. And with this story, I want to help young creators from around the world to create, to express themselves despite the rules, the unfair rules that whatever society they live in puts on them.
Hmm.
Like the tone, the sort of the tone from A Shape of Water.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, The Shape of Water, and also the 1984 original 1984 film.
With
That's
John Hurt.
Yeah, I don't know those actors, but yes,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Roger Dickens was the cinematographer for that film.
Yes. But I think it's a completely valid thing when we're talking about the marketing aspect, not the
Yeah.
creative genesis, to talk about, for the audience's understanding, the listener's understanding, what does it relate to? What are the influences where you go, oh, that, now I'm getting a picture, a sense of the tone, So Shape of Water visually. But the one that I bring up also in the conversation is Brazil by Terry Gilliam. And the fact that it's more probably
It's so funny because I was just about to mention it. Yeah,
okay, good. The storytelling element in how you speak can always be helped by a little more of the approach towards the narrative structure of what you're doing. So can I give you some notes?
Yeah,
About this? I put together things that you probably already
be
know.
brutal. Be brutal.
Yeah, I don't know if I have to be brutal, but what I'm saying is I want to be clear. And so part of what I do as a coach with the blueprint is that I'm pretty positive, but I don't BS people either. So I'm a big fan of the truth. So the first thing I said was use the juice. And I was like, I don't know where that came from, but it just kind of came out of my subconscious. By using the juice, I mean emotion rules the day. And just in the brief description of the movie, my thought was maybe this is a personal story from the beginning. Maybe the juice of this project is the moment by the waves in San Francisco. And maybe there's a little bit of a sense of vulnerability from your part in talking about the emotion of this creative impulse that came from a place of frustration, I would imagine, in some way, and that you're there. And boy, isn't the ocean a great place to sort of let the thoughts roll? And it's surrounded by negative hydrogen ions, and apparently that's a very calming thing. But I think in that calming moment, things bubble up that have you've been sort of suppressing with, oh, I've got to go to the store today and my to-do list, and all of a sudden at the ocean you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize I'm angry, or I have a thing that I've been trying to ignore. Maybe you were at the ocean and you've been muzzled for 2 years, and that you're just so frustrated, and that it came to you in a flash or the germ of an idea that you got, I am in this place where I am not happy, however you want to express it. And I was at this moment. And then the storytelling element of it is I'm standing on the sand at the beach in San Francisco, where an amusement park used to stand just down the hill from the Cliff House.
I actually was on the cliff.
Okay, so you're on the cliff, so even better. So I'm standing on the edge of a cliff in San Francisco. No, but you don't have to be corny about it, but I'm saying you can paint the picture. I'm standing on the cliff of outside the San Francisco Bay, where there are the remnants, the fossils of what used to be Russian style bathhouses to take in the water. And I am furious. Now you got my attention. I'm furious because I haven't been able to express myself creatively for more than 2 years. I'm going insane. So that's the story genesis that's got some vulnerability about you. And then take that moment and say, that's when the thing that saves us as artists is the idea. That's the thing that's going to move me. And I wanted to move you folks to give me just a little bit of your money. Let me tell you about it. Now I'm invested in your journey. Then when you go into the story, you want to paint the picture of the visuals. I love that we both mentioned The Shape of Water, because it's gorgeous visually. And so my questions are, even in a short, say it again.
And also very hard to shoot.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. So translate it for me. I'm looking for a way to take a shoestring budget and translate that gorgeousness into a sense of being underwater, being suppressed by the weight of things. And the shot is essentially the metaphor for the whole movie. You go, that's the movie right there. That picture or that little line of dialogue. I love a nice, perfect line of dialogue. And that's the movie. So tell me that picture. Describe that picture and make me go, totalitarianism, suppression, or beauty, or whatever is the moment that you want to really say, that's the movie. The ballet arm that makes you cry. It's so beautiful. Just saying that sentence can have somebody go, so who's the audience? Friends, family, and donors, that are in your connections. The story you want to tell, because that's what I always tell you, is tell a story. The story he's going to tell is the dream of fruition of the 6-minute project. It's the wow of seeing this film come to life. That's an exciting wow. I want to see this film come to life because it came from a real personal idea. So friends and family, audience, they're saying, oh yeah, I would love to see that film come to life because he really wants it. Yeah. Then if you're talking to filmmakers, people in the business that are sort of peers, it's the story might be the dream of the struggle. We already did that a little bit. We talked about the wow of what a pain in the butt it is to run a crowdfunding campaign. I'm like, yeah, I know. So we're creating common ground with peers about the dream and the struggle of the dream. It's the wow of, you should see what I've been going through. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me help him out. Then if you're in, let's say it's a feature, pretending, I'm talking about this and you, I'm sure you know this already. If the story is to producers, potential actual producers or studio executives, it's the dream of money and reputation, right? You're going to talk about the wow of a perfect project because executives' job is to say no. That's their job. They're hired to not make huge mistakes. That's important. That's why they have the job. They've got to say no all the time. So the story you're going to tell is the dream of a perfect project. Whatever audience you've got, you want to find the story that you can tell to that specific audience that makes them go click, ah, the light bulb's going off. And when you do tell the story, use power words, the right words for the right audience.
But nobody says, "Oh, I want to like pitch my short film to like HBO, and we're gonna be awesome."
No, but what they do want and they need is an example of your work. So if you treat this work as emblematic of yourself and what drives you, and you can say, hey, look, yeah, I want to do a feature. Check out this short film that I made, and you'll get a sense of my vision, what are my priorities with a shoestring. Guess what I can do with a budget? It's not being rational or laying out the whole plan. It's about talking about heat. It's about the emotional moment that drives you, and that will be so pleasurable with the emotion that you'll create with a short film.
But you meaning for like myself, or recorded for to send people out?
All of it. Start with yourself, see what you got. You go, I might just send that, because the bar is so low in terms of social media right now, in terms of production quality. Nobody cares. They just want to see the message and see you and understand your essence. And if they go, white hot filmmaker who's going to just go, and great idea, or man, I sympathize with the emotional juice he was going through. All that stuff is gems, whether you're doing it here and whether you start to do it a little more long form, like I was saying, whether it's a hook, whether it's a short pitch, a long passion rant, because you could do a passion rant at the beach and have people go, wow, this guy just went on for 12 minutes. Kevin Smith probably half an hour. And I think some of that stuff, that energy in the big rooms was, I'm not going to stop talking because they'll start shitting on the project. You know what I mean? Pardon my language, but yeah. So
I'll go to the Muscle Beach. Man, I'm struggling.
well, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going all over these beautiful locations in Los Angeles and creating a corny association. Like I was up at 4 a.m. This month in front of LACMA with all the street lamps in the thing. And I was like, hey, let's talk about light bulb moments. I mean, it's corny, but what I do in the content is high value and is how to, which you would love because you love how to speeches. And so I'm not making a big deal about it. I'm just there. Next one I'm doing is going to be at the Hollywood Bowl about the sonic power of that venue and getting your message out to the world, so that'll be something. And again, it's just a background. It's what it's about is your emotion, your passion, your storytelling.